If you're using DATEDIFF function, you have to be fully aware of its limitation associated with this use. Let me show you what I mean by that. Consider this table here. The start date is January 2nd, 2022 and the end date is 14 May 2023. To calculate the year between these two using DATEDIFF function, basically use the function called DATEDIFF. The first argument will be the start date, the second argument will be the end date, and the third argument would be the unit, which is y as in year. So you can see it's got 1 year between the start and the end date. To calculate the number of months between these two dates, basically you take the first argument as start date, second argument as end date, and the third argument is your month, the unit itself. There's 16 months between the start and the end date. And likewise, to calculate the days, first argument will be the start date, end date, and D to indicate number of days. So there's 497 days between this date and that date. But if you want to calculate the number of days between this date and that date, the start and the end date, but you want to ignore the month and the year, basically what you do is the same thing. First argument will be the start date and end date, and the third argument you put MD in it like that. And now if you want to calculate the number of months between the start and the end date, you take the first argument as start date, second argument is end date, and the third argument will be YM. And to calculate the number of days between this and that, but you want to ignore the years, you basically say YD. You can find the details of this argument in Microsoft web page here under DATEDIFF function. I'll leave the link in the description of this video here. So the main question is why not to use DATEDIFF. Let's consider these two tables here. I've got the first table with 31st January 2022 and date is 1st May 2023. So you can see that all the numbers seems to be working up correctly except for this MD is showing as 0. And not too sure exactly why, but I gave it another chance here on the second set of table. 28 August 2022, 1st March 2023. And you can see the date difference between this and that is actually 1, which is not correct. So if you look at Microsoft web page here, if you scroll down on the DATEDIFF function here, you can see that even Microsoft is recommending not to use DATEDIFF with MD because there's known issues with it.